This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, on the X-Zone TV show, coming soon to screens of all sizes. On the X-Zone TV show, we'll investigate UFOs, ghosts, alien abductions, demonic possession, psychic phenomenon, angels, lake monsters, Bigfoot, unsolved mysteries, and all subject matter from within the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, and much, much more. The X-Zone TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, www.xzonetv.com, is a Relmar McConnell media company and Airplay Media production. Unwilling to be the government's deadly assassin, gifted psychic Kahara Mitchell went AWOL and ended up buried under rubble in the wake of a great tsunami. She regained consciousness far from Earth on the medical ship of a Daguerrean intergalactic fleet. Has she been rescued or abducted by aliens? The Chalice of Carrie, Kahira O'Donnell's latest paranormal science fiction romance, is the passionate story of an Earth woman and her destined mates, twin kings from another galaxy. Kahara uses her gifts fighting alongside Lords Rom and Ra in a war that will determine the destiny of galaxies. The Chalice of Carrie by Kahira O'Donnell is now available at KahiraO'Donnell.com or at Amazon.com.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. You can listen to the X-Zone 724-365 at www.xzoneradiotv.com. And to find out what's new with our new TV series, X-Zone TV, visit xzonetv.com. X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Dr. David Villarreal. He is a holistic dentist. And I must tell you that when I read over the good doctor's information, this is very important, X-Zone Nation. Listen to this. Your dental fillings could be killing you, and not just the mercury inside your silver fillings. Joining me now from the beautiful state of California is our guest this hour, Dr. David Villarreal. And Doctor, thank you very much for joining us here in the X-Zone. Mercury fillings were a big story not that long ago, and it seemed to have just vanished. And yet I know many people are still walking around with mercury fillings in their mouths. And why is it so dangerous, besides the fact that mercury is poison?
It outgasses, and so those mercury vapors have to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. And, they'll be deposited in different parts of the body, in the brain, There's been studies showing direct correlations with how many mercury fillings you have in Alzheimer's disease,
right,
and also a lot of other autoimmune diseases. I agree with you. My mentor, Dr. Hal Huggins, just passed away last November, and there was a lot of controversy with this whole silver mercury filling, like a decade ago, and it seems like it just went away, but it really hasn't. There are a lot of, because of the internet, there are a lot of people educating themselves, and they are basically educating their dentists and telling them they don't want this material in their mouth anymore.
You yourself was a regular dentist, for lack of better words, for 7 years, and then you went over to holistic dentistry. What was it that made you or helped you decide to go from one side of the fence to the other?
Back after, practicing 7 years conventional dentistry, I got into doing white fillings just because I liked the way they looked.
Sure.
They looked better than, the silver fillings.
Yep.
And this acupuncturist, herbologist sent me a patient, and I looked in her mouth, and I said, wow, you don't have any mercury fillings. And she said, no, I went to go see Dr. Hal Huggins in Colorado Springs. And I said, who? She goes, you've never heard of him? I said, no. She says, I'll be back tomorrow. So she came back tomorrow with his book. It's called It's All in Your Head. And it was one of the few books I read in one sitting. It just made so much sense to me, and intuitively it just felt right. So I found myself flying to Colorado Springs to take his introductory course, and he still had a dental clinic there, and just seeing everything, videotapes of people improving just by having these removed or in change in diet and all that. I found myself flying back the next month, taking his advanced course, and never looked back. I just couldn't. I knew too much then. I just knew way too much, and I couldn't go back to doing conventional dentistry.
Let me ask you this, sir. Are conventional dentists still using the mercury type of fillings?
Yes, over 50%.
My Lord, how come the FDA hasn't come in and said, hey, guys, you can't do this? It's killing people.
They categorize it in a special way where, it's not, they don't look at it as a poison. Yet, you have Caulk, C-A-U-L-K company, who's a major manufacturer of this material. There's contraindications on the package that says, not to place it in children 6 years or younger, not to place it in pregnant women, not to place it in people that are known to are allergic to mercury. Well, who isn't allergic to mercury? So there's all these contraindications, but, it's a material that's fast, easy, and cheap. So you can make a crown out of it. And with composites, white fillings, you're much more limited in what you can do with them.
All right, Doctor, please stand by. You and I have to take our first break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Exonation, our special guest this hour is Dr. David Villarreal. His website is biodentalhealing.com. That's www.biodentalhealing.com. And Dr. David and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute break as we continue here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't forget, you can listen to the X Zone 724-365 at www.xzoneradiotv.com.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created nemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, on the X-Zone TV show, coming soon to screens of all sizes. On the X-Zone TV show, we'll investigate UFOs, ghosts, alien abductions, demonic possession, psychic phenomenon, angels, lake monsters, Bigfoot, unsolved mysteries, and all subject matter from within the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, and much, much more. The X-Zone TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, www.xzonetv.com, is a Relmar McConnell media company and Airplay Media production. Exonation, if you know anyone who has a silver mercury filling in one of their teeth, or more than, or in any amount of teeth in their heads, this is a very important show. Here's a very important website, www.biodentalhealing.com. That's biodentalhealing.com. And with the information that we were sent by Jackie Lappin, who is a lady that we've had the pleasure of working with many times over the year. Just listen to this, Exo Nation. Studies show that mercury, heavy metal poisoning, has been linked to multiple sclerosis, ALS, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, lupus, Parkinson's, arthritis, and many other autoimmune diseases. Here's that website again, www.biodentalhealing.com. And my guest this hour is Dr. David Villarreal. And Doctor, again, thanks very much for joining us. With all the people that are out there that are going to see conventional dentists, and you and I discussed that 50% of these dentists are still using the mercury-based fillings. How hard is it for you as a holistic dentist to remove that mercury filling and then use a different type of filling that is non-threatening to the patient? And what do you do with the mercury filling that you take out?
Very good questions. First of all, when we remove these fillings, it looks like we're going into hazmat.
Okay.
The patients are completely draped. Mm-hmm. They're breathing oxygen through a nasal cannula. We have special suctions in the room, not just the high-speed regular high-speed dental suction. We actually have other suction systems in there. We have a ionizer that picks up the free radicals. We dam the area that we're going to work on, which means the teeth that we're going to be working on is completely isolated, so nothing gets swallowed by the patient. We also have a naturopath that will come in and do intravenous vitamin C during the procedure to help chelate and protect the body. And then we also have a special collecting unit by our vacuum system that collects the mercury so it doesn't get dumped into our environment. And then basically hazmat comes and picks that mercury up, when it gets full.
Tell me, doctor,
because it isn't. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to say it isn't just about protecting the patient. It's also about protecting our environment.
Yeah,
and, we have to ask this question: Why are we getting such a exponential increase of mercury in our fish?
Do we have an answer?
No one really asked that question.
No, but do we have an answer?
Well, you have to think about all these mercury fillings that are being dumped into our water systems and into our oceans. There's a lot of dentists and there's a lot of teeth. So, we're not. I think we're contributing to that increase in mercury in fish.
Tell me, are there any statistics that you're aware of, doctor, when it comes to how many fillings a year or extractions a year that dentists in the United States carry out?
No, I don't know of any offhand.
Because
it's in the millions.
You said that, how many dentists, and I'm saying, holy cow, that's a lot of teeth.
Yes.
So when a person comes to you, when a person comes to you and they have these mercury fillings and you take them out, do you hear back from them, and how has their quality of life changed?
The thing is, do I hear back from them? Yes. I get patients from all over the world. And what the general sense I get is a sense of well-being, a sense of relief. I can't claim, that because we took these fillings out that their health and, that we got rid of ALS and, multiple sclerosis and that. But what patients tell me is that they have better energy, they have better clarity. And, we are just a piece of the puzzle. Like I always tell my patients when they come in, I tell them, removing these fillings is just a piece of the puzzle in improving your health. What we're trying to do is to less burden the body by removing these heavy metals. So that allows the body then to help start healing itself. The body is an amazing device that we take for granted, that we abuse, and it still comes back. But then there's a time when the body just can't take it anymore. And so let's say, your diet's really bad and all of a sudden you get sick and you change your diet and you improve. The same thing happens with removing heavy metals. Your body has had these heavy metals in their mouth for a long time. And because of, some stress situation that happened where, you lost a loved one, you got a divorce, an auto accident, your body finally basically says, I can't take it anymore. So then that's when, people start to really look at, okay, what am I doing in my life? What is wrong here? And then they realize, wow, maybe it's in my mouth. I mean, if you think about it, we've regressed in our society. If you were to go buy a horse, the first thing you do is hire a vet to see the condition of the horse. What does that vet do? He looks in the horse's mouth. It tells him a lot about the condition of the horse.
Just like a vet will do with your pet dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we've decapitated the patient. We put the dentist to one side and the physician to the other. But, in actuality, the head's connected to the body. So
that's right.
Whatever's going on in the mouth will affect the rest of the body.
Tell me, is there any reaction that you're aware of with any of the chemicals that are in our foods these days that would have an adverse effect besides the common effect that mercury would have in a person?
You mean like, well, put it this way. If you eat anything hot or if you just chewing, you're going to exponentially release more mercury from those fillings.
Wow.
Even at rest, there's mercury vapors coming out. We have this device in our practice called the gyrometer. Mm-hmm. That machine is used for industrial mercury spillage. It's like a Geiger counter to see how bad the mercury vapors, what the spillage was like. But what we have is a special tubing that we put in the patient's mouth, and it will show the patient that these mercury vapors are coming out with just basically being in their mouth.
Oh, my God.
So the ADA, the American Dental Association, for the longest time used to say mercury doesn't leak out of these fillings. Now they've changed and they said, yes, it does, but there's no problem. It's so minute that there's not a problem with it. So at least they're saying that it does come out now, but they're still claiming that there's no direct correlation with, having these in your mouth and your health. But if you look in Europe, there's a handful of countries in Europe that have banned it from the dental profession because they have found that there have been problems, having these fillings in people's mouths.
So there is a problem, but it's not a big enough problem that the ADA will tell all the other dentists, the other 50% that are still using mercury films, hey, knock it off. Let's get rid of mercury.
Mm-mm. Well, no, because again, a lot of people are insurance-based. They think, my dental insurance, I'm only going to, do what my dental insurance says I can do. And it's actually not dental insurance. I actually call it a stipend because dental insurance started in 1970. Mm-hmm. The average maximum was $1,200. The year 2015, the average maximum is $1,200. Think about that. That's a lot, So again, they have to, these dentists have to use something that's cheap. I mean, and even when mercury amalgams came to existence, over 250 years ago, there were the dentists that were using only gold.
Right.
And then people even back then couldn't afford it. So that's how dental amalgam became the material of choice. Because again, it's fast, it's easy, and it's cheap.
But, if we can put people on the moon, if we can put a little robot on Mars, you mean we can't use these great scientific minds to come up with something that will work better than mercury, that is cheaper, that will last longer?
Well, we do. I mean, we have composites, white filling.
Right.
But again, they're very limited in their use. I mean, in how you use them. I mean, you can't make a big filling out of this material. It just won't last.
So you're stuck using mercury?
No. What ends up happening is you have to do what we call onlays or inlays, which are partial crowns,
right?
That are non-metallic. I mean, in dentistry, you really don't need any metals anymore. You don't even need the gold alloys because a lot of gold alloys aren't really good because of the metals that are in there. Because gold in itself is too soft, that they have to mix it with different metals. Mm-hmm. So you can give the patient the look of gold, and it can range from 20% up to 90%. But the problem is there's metals like palladium, iridium, cadmium, silver, all these different metals that could be a potential problem to that patient.
So in some instances, dentures would be the ideal solution.
No. You actually lose 2/3 of your biting force, and then you won't be able to taste food like you used to.
Really?
So, no. Yeah, no. Uh-huh.
All right.
One of the reasons you have roots in your jawbone is to keep the bone stimulated there. So if you think about it, when people take their dentures off, mm-hmm. their face collapses because the bone tends to just resorb. So that, no, dentures are definitely not. No way.
All right, Doctor, please stand by. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, Dr. David Villarreal is our special guest. www.biodentalhealing.com. If you know anyone who has silver mercury fillings, do them a favor. Tell them to check out www.biodentalhealing.com. I'll be back on the other side of this news break with Dr. David as we continue talking about mercury fillings. Yeah, geez, when I was a kid, I had mercury fillings, for goodness sake.
I did too.
Yeah. All right, stand by, my friend. You and I will be back. Exonation, don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, on the X-Zone TV show, coming soon to screens of all sizes. On the X-Zone TV show, we'll investigate UFOs, ghosts, alien abductions, demonic possession, psychic phenomenon, angels, lake monsters, Bigfoot, unsolved mysteries, and all subject matter from within the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, and much, much more. The X-Zone TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, www.xzonetv.com, is a Relmar McConnell media company and Airplay Media production.
Do you think you have energy problems in your home? Do you feel better when you're away than when you're home? Joey Korn is a global leader in the world of dowsing who specializes in personal energy clearing and space clearing. He can help you create an ideal energy environment in your home no matter where you live in the world. Learn about his remote spiritual house cleaning services and much more at www.dowsers.com. You can get Joey's book, Dowsing, A Path to Enlightenment, as well as other dowsing books and tools, Kabbalah books, and Walter Russell books. Joey's work is really amazing. Go to dowsers.com right now. That's DOWSERS.com, or call 1-877-DOWSING. That's 1-877-369-7464.
With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. Dr. David Villarreal is our special guest. Biodentalhealing.com is his website. Tell me, doctor, how many silver fillings have you extracted in your career?
I could say easily 20,000.
And if you were to put all those 20,000 fillings into one spot, how much mercury would you say you have extracted?
Ooh, I've never thought of that. Wow.
That's
enough
one...
that the EPA would come and arrest me if I still had it.
How do you protect yourself?
Very good question. I do a lot of chelation work, which means I work with a naturopath,
Right.
and we do a lot of IV vitamin C chelation. I do a lot of cilantro. My diet is pretty clean.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of infrared saunas. I meditate. All those things really, really help. I call us dentists the Mad Hatters of our era, because we work in a cloud of mercury every day. So, my theory, my humble theory, is why dentists have the highest suicide rate. I personally think it's because we work in a cloud of mercury all day long. We don't really protect ourselves. So when I remove these fillings, I'm completely draped. I have a special mask that I use, special gloves, and I get checked on a regular basis just to make sure I'm not absorbing it as much.
Wow. Well, you spoke briefly about vitamin C intravenously. What is the significance of vitamin C? I've always thought that vitamin C is a sunshine vitamin.
No. Well, when it's taken intravenously, it's the most potent. Vitamin C is an electron donor. Mercury is an electron scavenger. So we're putting electrons back into your body. One of the reasons people die is because their electron level has decreased so much that that's one of the reasons they die. So we're trying to give them back electrons while we're removing these fillings, and it's also a chelating agent to help dump it out of the body. Again, we are the holistic biological dentist. We are just a piece of the puzzle, because just removing them isn't. It's good, but you need somebody like a naturopath or an MD that knows about chelation to help remove it from your body. Because as long as you've had those fillings, it's been dumped into different organs. Which organs? It depends on everybody, because everyone's body's different. You have to look at it like you're a drug addict, okay? And the police come and get you. They throw you behind bars. You don't have your drug anymore, so you're going to go through withdrawals.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with mercury. Your body's going to go, "Where's my mercury? You took it away from me." So that's when the chelation has to come into play, where we are working with different practitioners to help remove it from your body. And that's one of the reasons, like, infrared saunas are really good, intravenous vitamin C, cilantro, charcoal, all these, and again, everyone's body's different. So that's where a naturopath or an MD looks at what's the best regimen for that patient.
It almost seems, Dr. David, that we take better care of our cars than we do our own bodies.
Or our pets. Yes.
Or our pets, yeah.
Very much so.
What I like about the way you do dentistry, sir, is that you take the holistic approach, the whole approach. And this is so rare to see in conventional dentistry. How do your fellow conventional dentists say about the way that you're approaching dentistry, which I love, I admire?
That's funny. I just, like 2 weeks ago, I just came back from a ski trip that I do with 13 dentists. And I'm the only holistic one. So it's interesting because they will ask me sometimes, well, what materials specifically are you using? But for the most part, they respect what I do and I respect what they do. So, but these are my friends. You have other dentists that will poo-poo what I'm doing, and
right.
My mentor, Dr. Hal Huggins, they took his license away, and he was harassed his whole life, and in California, we have Proposition 65 that it is our duty to tell a patient, I'm putting in the silver filling, but this silver filling is not a silver filling. It's actually an amalgam, which is a mixture of dissimilar metals with 50% mercury. Before that, they were coming after us for not placing this in people's mouth or telling people you need to have these removed. Now, I don't tell any of my patients what they should do. My duty and my consciousness tells me, what I tell the patient is my job is to educate you.
Right.
And it's for you to decide what you want to do because it is your body. So I'll give you the pros and cons. You decide, once you're educated about it. And that's where the internet has really helped, because people have gone to different sites. For example, like Dr. Huggins' site, or Dr. Joe Mercola, who is a naturopath who has spoken very much on this type of dentistry.
Are you finding that conventional medicine as well as conventional dentistry is opening up their arms, or opening up the better line of communication between the holistic world and the conventional world?
More than it did a decade ago. I think part of the problem with medicine is it's become such a subspecialty that you don't have a lot of physicians looking at the whole body anymore. And that, I think, it's a big problem that we have in medicine now. And, we don't have the Marcus Welbys anymore, or, no one really looks at the whole body.
Yeah.
And also figures out, what's the patient's stress level, what's actually going on with that, because that's a huge factor in anyone's illness.
Now, I would imagine in today's society, stress plays a bigger role than a lot of people will admit, because nobody wants to admit they're overstressed.
Well, yeah, and it is the number one cause of any illness now.
Really?
Yep, it is stress.
When it comes to taking care of your teeth, I understand that people should get their teeth cleaned at least once every 6 months. Why is that?
Oh, that's because that's the insurance started that. The dental insurance company said, no, we are only going to pay cleanings twice a year.
That's it?
The problem with that is most people floss. They'll buy the floss and it'll look great in their medicine cabinet, but most people don't floss. Most people don't have an electric toothbrush that has a 2-minute timer. Most people only brush their teeth once a day.
Right.
So, a big problem is periodontal disease, gum disease. Gum disease is a silent disease, what that means is by the time you think you have gum disease, you're going to be losing teeth. So there was this medical insurance company, I forget which one, Blue Cross or Blue Shield, one of those, that were asking their physicians to look in the patient's mouth during their annual checkup.
Right.
And if they saw any signs of gum disease, to please tell them to go see their dentist. Not because the insurance company cared about the patient. They just knew that 5 years down the road, they were going to fork out more money, because there's direct correlations with gum disease, with heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, and an array of different illnesses. Again, because this bacteria, which is in the mouth, travels to other parts of the body.
That only makes sense. Yeah. Speaking about insurance, does insurance cover holistic dentistry?
No.
No, eh?
No. Again, because most dental insurance companies, your annual what's it called, maximum is $1,200. So I mean, it'll cover a couple teeth, but no, it doesn't really cover that.
How do you use acupressure in your dentistry?
When we do what we call dental revisions, where I bring in my dental anesthesiologist and we basically remove all the heavy metal in one sitting. The patient has intravenous vitamin C the day of. They come back the next day, which means they'll stay in a hotel, within a 5-mile radius of my practice, and the next day they get another dose of intravenous vitamin C, and my masseuse will do an acupressure massage. Have you ever heard of meridians?
Yes.
Okay, so meridians are basically Chinese qi energy. Okay,
Right.
So Chinese medicine's been around thousands of years. Western medicine's been around hundreds. They understand that the body is basically a computer board. It's all electricity.
Yeah.
So when someone's laying, in my chair, asleep, they, for 4 to 5 hours, the body gets out of whack. So what the acupressure massage does is it realigns all your qi energy. So it's funny because when they come out of that massage, they're like, I feel so much more awake. I just feel more relaxed. And again, it's realigning our energy because, our body is just one big panel of electricity.
Yeah.
And, we want to, keep that going.
You were saying that people are in the chair for 4 to 5 hours. Does it take that long?
If we're doing everything, yes.
Really?
They're under, they're sedated.
Right.
So to them, it feels like it was 5 minutes.
Right. So
but the body does much better when we're removing heavy metal. The body responds much better when it's asleep, because anytime someone goes to the dentist, when they sit down, everybody clamps down on that chair. Nobody really likes going to the dentist. Oh, I love going to the dentist, right? So their muscles are tight. Everything's tight.
Yeah.
And because they're scared, and I totally understand that. And in my practice, I take my time with my patients. I'm not running from room to room and doing any of that. It's an exchange of energy between the patient, the doctor, and the staff. And if everyone's in sync, everything just flows better. But also the patient's health does better. I mean, it improves.
Right.
There's the energy exchange has to be positive, and so in my practice, I don't run around. You don't see me, running around from room to room just because I don't like doing that too much. I would want to be treated the way I treat my patients in my practice.
I admire that. I'm sure, speaking about people loving to go to dentists, I'm sure somewhere on Wiseman and St. Roch in Montreal, in front of Dr. Kaplansky's office, there are still my scratch marks in the cement in the sidewalk as my mother dragged me up the stairs. God, that was my worst nightmare, going to the dentist.
Yeah.
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 I remember the old dental clinic on top of the fire station, for God's sake. And, as a kid, my mother would say, all right, go to the dentist and he's going to do this. And I'm saying, I'm 9 years old. You want me to go there myself? Are you nuts?
Well, part of it, I don't know how old you are. But
I'm 62. I'm 62.
Okay. I'll be 57 this year. So back when we were kids,
yeah,
there weren't as many dentists as there are now. Okay? So their beds, they didn't care about, the dentist didn't care about their bedside manner.
Yeah.
Because all they had to put up was a shingle,
Yeah.
and they were full the next day with patients. So you know, they didn't care if they were going to lose patients. Today, it's a different story. But now, you know, now you have corporate dentistry coming in, which is really changing dentistry.
The times are changing, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, Dr. David, please stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Exo Nation, do yourself a favor. Do your friends and family a favor. If anyone you know has a silver mercury filling, go to this website, www.biodentalhealing.com. My guest this hour is Dr. David Villarreal. Once again, his website is www.biodentalhealing.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break with Dr. David as we continue and wrapping up this hour here in the X Zone talking about dentistry, holistic dentistry. What a great concept. Taking care of the whole body, taking care of the patient. Love that idea. Maybe I wouldn't scratch going up to see the doctor or a dentist anymore. Who knows? We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away, gang.
What if someone told you you could live to be 120? Would you believe him? What if he told you the Bible guaranteed it? All you needed to do was follow his rules and buy his products. Would you do it? What if you invested 20 years of your life in him? What if he tested his substances on your child? What if your child became brain damaged as a result? Meet Dr. Tyler Belknap, a fast-talking Texas admin turned health guru. At the helm of a vast health food and supplement empire, he has established himself as the authority on nutrition and longevity. But what his followers don't know is that his products are laced with bizarre psychoactive substances from genetically modified plants developed in his very own secret lab. No wonder his customers can't stop using them. Tyler Belknap will stop at nothing to keep his edge in the market, even if it means experimenting on children. Chasing 120, a story of food, faith, fraud, and the pursuit of longevity, a novel from the pen of political cartoonist Monty Wolverton, is an easy and entertaining read full of rich characters and intrigue. It hits home in a world filled with all kind of hucksterism and offers a glimpse of what can happen when GMO technology falls into the wrong hands. Chasing 120 by Monty Wolverton. Get your copy today at www.ptm.org/120 or on Amazon.com.
Nita Hickok is an expert in exorcisms, psychic warfare, soul healing, angelology, soul retrieval, demonology, energy healing, long-distance healing, astral healing, and much more. Nita is an interfaith minister because she believes all gods and goddesses are valid and that they are part of one divine force that is incomprehensible to us who are incarnated upon this earth. Nita has been doing astral healing, distant healing, spirit release, exorcism, house cleansing and blessings, soul restoring and revival, psychic vampire removal and curse removal, and much more for over 40 years. For more information or to contact Nita Hickok, visit her website at www.astralhealer.com. That's www.astralhealer.com.
Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Just a note here that the X-Chronicles newspaper for April will be coming out on April the 14th. And we've got some great stories in there. Let me see. One of the stories is all about the X-Files returning and what it means. I mean, besides more money for Chris Carter, David Duchovny, it's all money. Life is dollars and cents, except when you come across people like my guest this hour, Dr. David Villarreal. He is with the Biodental Healing, and their website is www.biodentalhealing.com. First of all, Dr. David, as I said during the break, thank you so much for coming on the show with us, sir. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. A very informative and very important hour, so thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate it also.
Since we were talking about mercury fillings, what about dental implants? Do they pose the same type of problem that mercury would in your mouth, or is this a totally different type of material that doesn't cause any known problems?
Dental implants there's two types now. There's the titanium, which has been around. Most people that have implants have them. And now there are the zirconia. Now, the zirconia implant is a material that has been extracted from the zirconium metal. So titanium looks like a metal, the titanium implant. The zirconia implant looks flat plastic. It's kind of like the zirconia diamonds.
I see.
That some of the women have. Europe has been using them for, I want to say, 10, 15 years. The FDA just approved of them here in the United States 2 to 3 years ago. So now you have two different types of implants. So a lot of my patients that want implants then have them tested with someone that does EAV testing or muscle testing,
right,
to see if they're going to get a blockage in that site. Blockage via the meridians.
Once again, holistic approach to healing, the holistic approach to dentistry. You know, we find ourselves as a human race going forward just to come back and start where we actually started all over again. And holistic is nothing new when it comes to medicine. Where do you see holistic dentistry in the next 5 years, sir? I have been a holistic biological dentist since 1992. The two organizations I belong to, the International Academy of Oral Medicine and Toxicology and the International Academy of Biological Dentistry and Medicine, I have seen an increase in the amount of dentists that are enrolled in these organizations now. I hope that it continues, and I think that it will continue in the sense that people are demanding to know more about what is actually going on in their mouth and what's being placed in their mouth. There's the McConnell.com website that, again, explains a lot about this type of dentistry. But I think I would like to say that 50% of the dentists are now holistic. I don't know. I don't know if that can actually happen, but at least we're seeing more and more dentists placing white fillings instead of the silver fillings because people don't want to have the silver filling. Dr. David, we have to say so long for tonight. I want to thank you so much for joining us. And Exo Nation, do yourself a favor and a favor to those you love and spread the word, www.biodentalhealing.com. Dr. David Villarreal has been my special guest this hour. We'll have to have the good doctor on again. So until the next time we meet, Exonation, from our home to yours, from our place to yours, always remember to keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.